possible prosecution of the Board of Trustees. Doomsor looms as IPPs crumble, but ECG denies claims. And finally, Alan promises to reform constitution and then cut down presidential powers. And so these are the topics that we are discussing for the morning. As usual, I'll encourage you to be a part of the conversation. Let me know what your thoughts are. Send in your messages. I'll be more than pleased to read them in the course of the show. As usual, on a Monday morning, we've been joined by Rodelyn Ayana. On a Tuesday morning, Rodelyn Ayana of the Movement for Change. She already has her yellow cap on, representing strongly the Alliance for Revolutionary Change and the Movement for Change. Good morning, ma'am. I hope you're fine.
Good morning. Yes, I'm fine.
Great.
So?
I mean, I can't complain, except that the economic hardship continues to bite everybody, irrespective of who you are, whether you're a journalist or you are in some other profession. It still would bite you. It doesn't exempt anybody.
That's true.
So I'm feeling the scourge.
Okay, just keep praying. We have less than 2 weeks for us to
11 days actually.
Yeah, to get a new dawn.
A new dawn.
Yeah.
Right.
And things will be fine.
I'm meeting Kekeli for the very first time here on the show. I don't know if she's
myself.
So you've now been on this on Pan African TV.
Yeah,
it's good to have you. It's good to
be here too.
How is the NDC? Currently, I think former president is in one of the regions.
Yeah.
I think it's in the western region. Western region. I actually used to be part of the media campaign team.
Okay.
And so
they have to make you a host.
because the boss is now the running mate to Alan Chamante.
Okay.
Yes. So I had to.
Wow.
Yes, I was.
So you have big men here, Abby? Yeah. For the NDC, the campaign is doing well.
It's doing well.
My constituency, Ablekuma West, is all green. We are taking that seat. It's been 12 years of the MPP, and we are tired of them. We've not seen any significant.
What's the vote margin?
Who's there?
Our PC. The MP is Anabosla.
Oh,
that's
and
that's a tough one.
That's a tough one. I agree.
I don't know why people say it's a tough one. Because from 14,000 in 2016, the margin now is 7,000.
Okay.
So we broke it into two. So this time around, the whole place is
what was the percentage?
That one I really
The difference is what she said.
It's the difference that meant so much to me because we did well, we worked, and this time around we are working harder, and the place is green, and we know John Dramani Mahama is winning. So we need a clear majority in Parliament. We don't want this majority-minority issues anymore. And so we need the majority so that whatever projects or policies President will want to undertake, we wouldn't have to go through. Because honestly, this MPP, if it were to be MPP in opposition, that we have this hung parliament, you can trust the MPP. They will make this country ungovernable. For them, they don't care. It's all about them. They don't care about the nation Ghana. So when we get a clean win and a clear one, no one is going to court. Our flag bearer have said it. We won't go to court. So we are winning at the polling station. And thank God for the new CI. Every result will be pasted there. So we'll take pictures. When you get to the coalition center, go and change figures.
I've seen the results of the 2020 general elections for Ablekuma West. 37,000.
From 2016.
No, this is 2020. 37,000.
I'm looking at the difference.
Yeah. But I mean, if from 2016 there's been that from 14,000 has been halved.
Over 14,000.
So. And the NDC wouldn't need 7,000 to win it if they want. If they should win it, you just need to get more than 50% of that 7,000 that is on top of it. You only need that. You don't need the entire 7,000. You need, like, let's say about 4,500 to 5,000 votes. To win it.
It's going to be a very interesting
It's going to be a very interesting elections. I mean, from a position of neutrality, I don't think it's going to be easy for MPs who particularly are from the NPP stock and are part of this parliament right now, heading into the next election. I don't know. From what I said, I feel that a lot of them may be losing their,
arrogance,
maybe losing their seats, especially for places where the margins are not too huge. Very close, 5,000 votes, 4,000, 3,000 votes.
And some hundreds.
Yeah, some even hundreds.
Where they cannot purge right now.
Exactly.
Because of vigilance.
Yes.
Because of the work
Yes.
that all of us have put into
Yes.
it.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
very, very transparent.
Yes. Yes.
It's going to be interesting on both sides.
It's very interesting. Very interesting. Let's see how it
I was
pans out.
looking at one, and the difference was about in a particular place, I think in the Upper West region, and that candidate, NPP candidate, won by about 8,000 votes, and I'm like, the whole majority of people, how many people voted?
Yeah.
You know, unless it was a typical, a typical mistake.
Yeah.
I was like, how? It's not possible, but that's how it is. This election is going to be full of surprises. Sure. For me. It's really, really going to be full of surprises because somehow Ghanaians are really tired. Yeah.
We are looking forward to the surprises, and the good thing is that
Cocoa 5 cities
no,
and be comfortable.
no, it's not.
And
You
it's
can't
like-
have 5 cities and buy cocoa with bread. It's not possible.
No, the last time I went that someone roundabout in the evening, I saw from campaign. Greater Accra, we are having this education on voting under the office of Jerry Johnson, the communication officer. We're going to all the 34 constituencies. We've done, I think we are left with 9 so far. And I got that, so eating late is now making my tummy blue, so let me just buy cocoa. So I said, give me cocoa 3 CDs. And I was like,
Cocoa in my village, you can get 2 cities
Sure.
or 1 city. You understand?
You said the millet is produced there.
That's what I'm saying. So it's when we use that kind of thing, we don't get the right information.
Yeah.
Do you get me? Because kenke even in Ashanti is cheaper. Kenke in Brown Ahafo is cheaper. Kenke in my village, because the place is the place is such that all those things are there. They produce the maize, they produce the millet, they produce the things. What we should be actually looking at are those things, like in the health sector, the way our education has been run down. You understand? If you start talking about those things, people will listen. But when you start talking about food, especially, the villagers don't see it, so they'll just go out and vote and say they don't see.
It's true.
Yes, they don't see. And then apart from that, when we talk about the foreign exchange levels, for instance, somebody told me, I said, my son sent me this first, let me just say, but now it's plenty. You see, it's plenty. And when you look at it, they are sending it to people who are living in the districts, and food is cheap. So that person's life somehow
it's better.
Feels that it's better. So
here in
Accra, we are suffering.
We actually pay 90% of the country's taxes.
Our rents, and that's
pay 90% of the country's taxes. 90%.
I've said that I wish that I had the power to say that only taxpayers must vote for the president.
Well, that would be an interesting one.
What she's saying is kind of true.
Yeah.
Because you go to maybe the villages or some of the small towns, and the kind of feedback you get, even from this more education we are doing, and I'm like, oh, but these are people who have voted over the years. And you'll be shocked the kind of questions they even asked. I said, they don't even get anything. Unless the person is in a typical community that there's no food. We know some areas we don't plant. Fishing is not all that good, even especially now because of the galamsey. So then you know that they are hungry.
Yes.
So when you talk of food, they understand. They are buying KK 5 cedi just like we are buying. Like I used to know from my village, they are buying KK 5 cedis. Though they farm, it's not all that good, So in certain areas, when you talk about food, it's like, especially when we talk about the currency, and it's like Auntie said, first when I change money, and now I get plenty. So, it's a kind of say the baby. Yes, I'm a bano cry one ton. So the last time I was telling you, I will bano one ton or one has cannot the brown. With the Ghana, Mako 17, 1 CD 17 in a Benyas as Canabako. And the woman was quite, I mean, I can't maintain, and I'm so I had to sit her down now explain.
Also feels that things are okay. They say they may money 100.
What to me be 1,007. Yes.
I've seen a story on the front page. I saw a story on the front page of the Business Analyst this morning, and I was a bit annoyed. CD on resurgence. Once $1 going for 16 cedi 70 pesos, and we are happy about it.
Yes.
16 cedi 70 pesos. All right, let's get into the details of today's conversation. We are starting with our African story, very interesting one, that a peaceful, in quotes, peaceful march in Nairobi yesterday, commemorating the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, ended up with police using tear gas to disperse them. A peaceful march, peaceful underlined, commemorating the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, also underlined, and it ended up with the police in Kenya inflicting violence on these women on that day. The story goes on to say that protesters later spoke out against the reaction by security forces and highlighted what they say is a lack of governance or government action. Nairobi resident Karanja said they want accountability. The police are the ones who kill women, which is why they do not want us to protest against the killing of women. They are supposed to be protecting us. Kenyan police agencies say there have been 97 cases of femicide in various parts of the country in the last 3 months alone. Wow. But activists say many more go unreported. Last week, Kenyan President William Ruto condemned the alarming rise in femicide cases and urged collective efforts to protect women from gender-based violence. As the world marked the start of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, social justice activist Happy Olau said the Kenyan government is not doing enough. Ruto cannot come and say there is femicide. He has an extra role. He should tell us how many people have been arrested this year because of femicide. How many? The United Nations on Monday said 85,000 women and girls were killed intentionally in 2023, of which 60% died at the hands of their partner or a close relative. Africa had the highest number with an estimated 21,700 victims out of the 51,100 killings by an intimate partner or family member. That's a sad one. That's a very, very sad one. And it's even more sad that a protest, a peaceful one for that matter, against this injustice would result in the Kenyan police again inflicting violence on these women by firing tear gas to disperse them. If it was a peaceful protest, why would you, and women, why would you fire tear gas? It was not as if they were going to vandalize property or they were disturbing the peace. A peaceful, that's what the paper reports, a peaceful, protest. It's shocking. But what's Anti-Imperialist's take on this particular story?
Good morning to our viewers and to the Movement for Change members and every Ghanaian, more so also to Ms. Alanchira Mateng, who is gearing up for the Jubilee House, and will surely get there. We had a beautiful youth activity at Legon over the weekend, massively participated by the youth of this country, and we know that they understand our message. Kenyan police is in the news once again for not the good reasons, but for bad reasons. I don't know why there's so much violence against women, even though we seem to have been speaking out, trying to get men to understand that we are not their punching bags, we are not their enemies, we are just partners, you know. And I was asking someone this morning, I said, I don't understand what is happening in the world today. Women are those that actually bring up these policemen who call themselves policemen. They are being brought up by women. So are we failing as women to teach them the right things? What exactly is happening? We are told that every 10 minutes a woman is killed. That's a UN report. But I don't believe that Africa has the highest number. Asia must have. We can't possibly have the highest number. But then, I think that we should look at some of the causes of this violence that men seem to have or to met out to women. Could we trace it to single parenting that has given the woman not that opportunity and that chance to be able to bring up a child and inculcate those special values of respecting a woman in the boy child? Because somehow you look at it and you ask yourself, why should a man misbehave towards a woman, a gentle soul? We're not saying that some women are not violent, but the majority of women are very, very calm people. We tend to look at a woman as a soft being, the weaker sex. So why should the police give out tear gas when it's just a peaceful march? There must be something wrong somewhere. Were they angry already at women? Or what was the reason? I can't seem to find any reason for this kind of thing. I remember years back, women took up the learning of karate, you know, and wrestling to protect themselves. Because from what the UN report is saying, most violence happens in our homes, either family members or spouses or whatever. That is where it happens. About 60% apparently happen in our homes. So our homes are not even safe. And I always shudder when I watch some of the movies that we show on our televisions. I don't know whether battering women shows that a man is hip or a man is man or masculine. Because if you turn on your television and you're watching African films, especially Nigerian films, at the least provocation is a slap, is battering. You understand? And then I keep asking, so don't we have any form of censure for this? To say that, look, we can't have violence on our screens, because you are teaching younger people that it's good to beat a woman or to beat someone. And I know that in an African home, the family is supposed to be a very peaceful family. Mom, dad. If you continuously as a father beat your wife, your son is going to see it as a norm and grow up beating his spouse. Sometimes the sons, very few, will look at the woman with pity and tell themselves, I won't do it to my wife. And that is where we have to be educating them. It is not a norm for a man to beat a woman. But day in, day out, we are seeing it. Women are tortured psychologically, they're beaten physically, they are coerced. We are controlled. Men just want to control women. But I'm also saying that it's about time women, when you are assertive, then men say that you're being rude or whatever. But to be assertive is just being able to stand up for your rights. And I think that we should be looking at the way we recruit our servicemen. I've said it here before. They need to go, I don't know if they go through a psychological test. Because you see, you have to remove sadists from within the security agencies. There are some who are born sadists. They like to inflict pain on people. So when some actually enter the service to inflict pain, somebody tells you that, look, you talk to some of them, why do you want to go into the police or to go there? Some will tell you that, look, me, discipline one more. You understand? Now, such a person shouldn't even get the opportunity to go into the service, because the person has a mindset of violence. Are you getting me? And you look at the way, even just recently, an army officer says, I will beat them. A jungle warfare senior officer saying, I will beat them. Who gave you that right to beat anybody? So who gave the police the right to inflict such pain on mothers, sisters, aunties who are just going on a march? So for me, I think that we should start doing a lot more in recruitments. That's where it starts. Let's have some psychological evaluation of the people that we take into our security agencies. Let's not take people who have the mindset of inflicting pain, or the mindset of cheating, or the mindset of beating, or the mindset of whatever. Let's see those who really want to serve the country or to serve the people, and let's take those people. Because Kenya it's just unfortunate that we are having this thing from Kenya once again. There must be something wrong with the Kenyan police, and they must bow down their heads in shame.
Thank you very much, Auntie Rhoda. Let me come to Kekeli. Kekeli, your thoughts on this particular story?
Good morning again to viewers and my constituents, Greater Accra. Auntie Rhoda, she owes me dawada. Yes, sir. I don't know how Kenyans are brought up, or African men, excuse me to use that language this morning. Because when I see a man beating a woman, I ask myself, especially when they are married or they are in a relationship, because from what we believe as Christians, you become one. So how do you beat your own self? Or beat your wife, your girlfriend, your girl child? Women are delicate, looking at our body and everything, how we were created. So sometimes when I have girls misbehaving, I ask them, where do I beat? Because if you want to spank them and you are not careful, you hit somewhere and you are in trouble, or you hurt them for life. So I didn't get the topic sometimes when I was trying to go through this African Kenya. I said, Kenya again. What is it with the police in Kenya? So if the president is coming out to say that women are being killed too much, so what is the president doing about it? And secondly, does it mean that the security services work outside the executive or something? Does he not know anything about what is happening? Women go on protest, and I don't think women will go and burn anything. And from the reports I just read, I don't think anything happened for a tear gas thing to happen. Are the police feeling guilty of something? So they can't just accept the fact that we did something wrong to these women and now they are coming out to fight us or fighting back. It's a shame. I don't know what our leaders or power drunk leaders in our communities or in Africa gain by doing all these things. If people are protesting, the police or the security agencies are supposed to protect them, even against external forces or people who might want to join and cause trouble for them and all that. But if this same police tear gas, for what? Were they not supposed to go somewhere or do something and they did it? And the report is not giving us. But when you look at the figures even the UN is giving us, that 85,000 women and girls were killed intentionally in 2023. Intentionally by close relatives, either family, either spouses or all that. I don't get it. What is our crime as women or the women in? We don't have it much here. maybe we don't want to report. You know those times they will tell you you're a woman, you don't fight your husband, you don't have to report, don't let a third party come into her. I remember my father-in-law used to tell me, as for you, he calls me Anti-Imperialist. I know you won't be quiet when you are being hurt. I can't. So, you know, I used to be very close to boys growing up, and uncles and this thing. So when I hear maybe one of them has done something to another guy, I'm like, so why didn't he try it with me? Because me, I won't stop to make noise. I will either hit you, I will do something. All the time I want to do something so that you come and report me. I want you to come and report me. So when they ask you what happened before I did that to you, because I remember I slapped somebody once and he wanted to go and report. I said, go and report. I will tell them what you wanted to do to me. So that's what I taught my girls. That anybody who wants to touch you where you shouldn't be touched, or doing anything to you that you are not comfortable, hurt the person. There should be an evidence. Let the person come and report you with that thing. This person slapped me, I was hurt. If you get anything around, hit. So growing up, I think by God's grace I've been able to overcome it. I easily slap. I easily will hit you with anything I see around. And I think I had that thing at the back of my mind that the boys or the men around me will always want to take advantage of me. So I was always on my guard. Defensive, you try it. And so I remember once I took it to cycle and I slapped somebody. The person just shouldered me hard. And I was like, oh, that time I was tiny. Growing up, I was very, very tiny. So those who know me, they are like, so you could go big? I say yes. So I look at the guy and I thought he would say sorry. And instead of saying sorry, he wanted to show his masculine side. And the way I slapped them, the funny thing is, as soon as I did it, I took off my shoes and started running. Guys around decided to protect me and I had to run. So you see, this thing growing up with maybe boys or men who wants to take advantage of ladies, they saw their fathers do it in a home that when the man speaks, no woman talks, or you can't say anything. Is the final thing, and they grow up with it. The last time I was talking to somebody, he said he doesn't see why women should be given leadership position.
We have failed.
And this is a politician. So you can imagine with this mindset, a man doesn't see why women should be given a leadership position. Our forefathers saw wisdom in the reason why they didn't want us to go to school and be in the kitchen. You see, me growing up, I had some funny idea. I wanted to marry a Northman, but I saw that thing and I'm like, that is not me. I can't be there. I know obviously, but you see,
the Kenyan situation is not only Kenya. It's
like I said, but because most people wouldn't want to talk about it, report it and all that, people get away with it, or the men get away with it, and they do it to a second person, a third person. Because I know of a man, women don't stay in the marriage, but going into risk, I realized that he beats them. He beats the women. And so they get out and this one is quiet, or you don't want to be seen as a lady or a wife who was beaten, so you keep quiet over it. Your sister goes into that same thing and it happens to her. She also comes out. They say zip your mouth. The person also comes out and the mouth is zipped. And please, I don't know this Kenyan thing. I don't know. The Kenyans have to sit up, especially the police. Their security agency, they are not up to the task. And the president, I'm disappointed. He shouldn't have even said anything concerning this thing. Because the police cannot just get up and do anything. We know that our vice president in this part of in Ghana is the security head. I don't know of their place. But I'm sure that there's something that links the police or the security services to the executive. And if these things are happening, then
it's not good. Your wife is worrying you. When you come out and you meet other women trying to protest, you get angry because it's like things are not working. You are not man enough in the house. People are losing marriages in this economy, and it all boils down to the same thing. We need to have a change where at least governance will work for people to be able to take care of their families. when you are able, when that policeman is able to get up in the morning, care for his family, and have everything going, he's most likely going to go out there with a smile.
Right. I have already received some messages from our viewers. I'm going to attempt to read some of them. Akilu Muftau Jara says we are winning. NDC. DJ Opedimo says Akilu. I'm DJ Opedimo from Kumasi Swami. Ghanaians will never make a mistake to bring NDC back in power. Do they think we still have short memory to forget Dumso and cancellation of trainees allowance and introducing of 3 months pay policy by JDM? Greetings to Dr. Baumia Ordino Kwekwapia. Thank you so much. Alaji Aruna Sherman says that this government must leave office so that we collect all our monies. In fact, Ghanaians should be concerned with this Shraj report. It is so stinky. The MPP is forcing to remain in power just to cover the rot they have plunged this country into. So Ghanaians, come out in your numbers to vote massively for a change by bringing back John Mahama to reset Ghana. Good morning, Alaji Aruna from Ashaiman. Thank you for your message. Musa Abatwa says Honorable Ablakwa deserves commendation for exposing corruption and protecting taxpayers' money. The Shraj findings reveal a shameful act cloaked in God's name to shortchange the taxpayer in the name of cathedral. It's not surprising that some clergymen resigned from the board upon discovering the underhand dealings and corruption-related issues. I'll vote for Mahama based on the promise to prosecute cathedral mafias to recover the $58 million back to the state. My regards to Julius Debra. Lilian Akosua Bediakon. Baumia can't win elections with this record. He's never accepted responsibility for anything. It's either he's not in charge or they refuse to listen to him. We in JM we trust. Mukaila Jonah says we plead with the people of Ashanti to buy their own elephant and royal. Dr. Napo, no Ashanti should listen to the NDC's propaganda that we've not done anything in Ashanti. Please ask the NDC whether they've been able to develop Volta region being their World Bank. I come from the Uti, and when you pass through the Volta region, you see what is called broad day poverty, underdevelopment as compared to Ashanti region. Okay, thank you. Mohammed Abdul Karim says, good morning, Bless, and your panelists. I know a woman who said she likes a man who beats his wife, and I was like, there
are some women like that. But those ones are preferences.
Yes, but it's an illogical preference. It's an illogical preference.
How many women out of 10 will want their men to do?
I mean, but it doesn't make sense. I don't think any educated woman would come out and say.
It will come out.
It has nothing to do with education.
To make sure that you hide your.
It has nothing to do with education. I think it's just. It's just them. It's within them, and their reasons. They'll tell you reasons.
They give you reasons, justifications for that.
Yeah, I came across some, and the person was really excited. Said, "Oh, do Miss Fana."
Maybe is the aqua part.
Is the aqua part? No, it's aqua part.
Right. Let's move on. There's Shraj have finally come out with their verdict on the National Cathedral issue, but the most interesting thing that has come out is the fact that they are asking the National Cathedral Board to be investigated, and if possible, a prosecution of the Board of Trustees. That is a very interesting bits of it. They said that the commission also found that a contract awarded to Ribade Company Limited in relation to the National Cathedral construction had no legal basis and was entered into contrary to the mandatory provisions of the Procurement Act. The commission consequently recommended that the Board of the Public Procurement Authority should intervene to cancel the contract between the National Cathedral and Ribade Company, since it had the power to do so under the procurement law. The commission recommended further investigation and possible prosecution of the Board of Trustees of the National Cathedral, who superintended over the award of the contract to Ribade Company in disregard to Act 663 as amended. These breaches of the procurement laws have the potential of causing international embarrassment to the country considering its international status and that of Ribade Company Limited, the commission said it has a potential. It has already caused international embarrassment. Anti-Ruda, National Cathedral, are you pleased with what Shraj, the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, has come out to say on this finally? And it's interesting, the timing as well, with just a few days to the elections.
Actually, the National Cathedral issue is one that confuses me, because we have state funding, and we also know that they went and did some fundraising, which means private individuals also contributed. So sometimes and then I have always taken it that it was not a state project. It's a project that was initiated by the president, and it was his promise to God to build him a cathedral. So this is something that is at the doorsteps of the president. Unfortunately, we found our money being used, even though from the very onset we were told that the state was not going to be using any money or contributing anything. It's unfortunate that Shiraj at this time should be coming out with this, but sometimes you say better late than never. Thanks to Ablakwa, we are being told that there should be a forensic investigation, which is good for us to know exactly how much has been sunk into the pits that we find ourselves inheriting. I think that Ribade, those who gave the contracts to Ribade must be the ones that we must be holding. I don't know whether the contract was given to Ribade by the Board of Trustees and whether anybody else outside the Board of Trustees was involved in the giving of this contract. But I agree that we should have an audit to get to the bottom of how much exactly the state has spent. If you're looking at Ribade's 312 million that we paid for a pit, and we had advanced, I think we advanced monies and all that, you ask yourself, how can a country just sit and wait for somebody to come, take our money, taxpayers' money, and just leave, and we don't do anything? Ribade getting that contract for me was a slap in the face of architects in this country. I felt that we had not treated our architects well, our quantity surveyors, and everybody else who could have contributed to this project. As for getting ridiculed in the international community, we've already been ridiculed. But it is good to note that at least Asafwaje lost out on other contracts overseas because of the way ours went. So I am okay with the fact that the Board of Trustees, men of religion as they are, sat down and saw to these rocks. So if they have to be investigated, why not? I don't think anybody is above the law. And for the fact that Mrs. Joyce Ayi came and told us that people are still being paid, and it was rightfully so to do so because it had not been cancelled. So I would love for them to come and account for the monies that they got, and also to tell Ghanaians how much has been spent out of that money, and then we'll move on from there. The cathedral has been an embarrassment to the presidency and to all those who thought that this was going to bring us some form of blessings, having imported a rock from Israel. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, and we are still stuck here with the rock. I don't know where the rock is. I would advise that rock be sent to the museum. At least we can have it there, and people would go, and our children and our great-grandchildren will come and see that this rock was brought from Israel to build a cathedral that never was. So bless. I think that Shiraj is on the right path, although I wasn't really happy with the other things that he said about Mr. Dujemfi. Yes, A.K. Reverend Kwesi Boateng and the rest. But I'm not surprised. It's give one, take one. That's what he's done. He was appointed by the president, he was appointed by an NPP government, and therefore he has a right to protect his position, which is left with about 11 days or 12 days. The other thing too is that it is one of the things that the Movement for Change president is looking at, that appointees to such places should be done by another house, not just coming from the presidency. That is why Mr. Alomasor proposes another upper house made up of Ghanaians from all walks of life to be able to appoint people like the IGP, people like the EC boss, the NCC boss, the Shiraj boss, and all that, so that they can freely work. Because this is a give one, take one judgment for me. So Ghanaians should just say that let's wait for the next government. Definitely we will take it up.
Does that mean that you are not hopeful that, as Shraj suggests, any forensic investigation will be conducted into this, into the activities of the National Cathedral and the Board of Trustees, and if possible, a prosecution of the persons at the helm?
You know, I'm so happy that it's happening now, because I don't think that our President Nana Addo Dankwa can clear this one. He cannot, within 3 days, have a committee set up and then clear them. So it will be going into the next government, and I am saying the next government of Mr. John Kojo will look into this. We will look into it. So it will be coming to us to be able to investigate, do the forensic auditing, and prosecute where necessary. And we will not spare anybody if found culpable.
Right. Kekeli,
Yes,
one of your MPs, Honorable Blackwell, has been at the forefront of this. I mean, he brought this whole cathedral issue to light, and the fact that so much has been expended, so much has been wasted on this, project, which we understand was a project of of the president. It was supposed to have been commissioned last week, I think 2023, 6th March. That was the day, last year 6th March was the day the National Cathedral was supposed to be commissioned. It's been over a year more, and the foundation is still a pit. The foundation is not yet done. I don't think it will ever see the light. So I don't know if any other government, if any successive government would come in and use that the cathedral place for, because even Baumia himself has said he's not going to do any work on the cathedral.
No.
Yes.
No, I thought he said that they will look for money.
Oh, governments?
Yes, that they will
No,
look
but
for
I think he said independent, but not from the state's coffers.
Well, independent, we've heard independent before.
And then
using
our own money.
So him saying independent, you can't believe Baumia.
Right. But Kekeli, are you pleased with the outcome of this Shraj, verdict on the National Cathedral?
Take one, I take one.
It's just like
it's unfortunate. The Shraj decided to play it safe. Like Auntie said, the appointing authorities is the same person who appointed this man. and all those board of trustees, people who are still being paid when nothing is being done. And we have Ghanaians who are hungry. We have buried over 50 million or a billion into that project. And the only thing we have is a swimming pool. Somebody was able to enter to go and swim. And the next thing is a pond. At least if we had started a fish something there, we would have been selling by now. How many years now? This is a personal pledge of someone who wanted power. I'm going into an election. I'm a Christian, so I believe in some of these things, and it works. I'm going into an election, and I go to God. If you give me a win, I will give you a house. Then I win. Then I will go and stand at my constituency and church and tell them that I asked God to give me a win, so I build in my house. So come and build it. We were told that it's going to be a private thing. Now, the Ghanaian taxpayers' money, that is not enough for even us was put into this project. When we were told Ghana beyond aid, so we were all trusting that we will do things Ghanaian and everything here, because we have a lot of people, trained architects, people who are working for Ghana and things, and Ghanaians who are architects, we have artisans and all that. But in this case, we had to go out to bring foreign contractors or builders or architects or whatever they were to come and do this thing. We've paid them, they've gone to sleep. Whatever contracts they even have, we don't know. Because as we speak, the buildings that have to go down there for this biggest expensive hole in the world, in that place, wasn't just ordinary buildings. We know how judges were taken out of that place. We know how, I think one of the embassies was there, Nigerian also. Oh? One of the embassies was there. We had a lot of important buildings on
judges' apartments, the bungalows,
and we had to spend more to even clear people.
Yeah,
and we spent more to give to
Old Passport House.
Yeah,
Old Passport House had to go, and it's because somebody said he made a pledge to God.
See, there's no other land in Ghana.
There's no other land. When we had the Kintampos, we have the breeze that are already tourist places that we can build those things and open up those places if really we wanted to do something good for this nation. It's unfortunate when you start talking about it, you hear men of God on your neck, men of God on their side anyway, not right thinking men of God. When you look at when you go through the Bible, David wanted to build for God. Listen, it's not everybody who God even wants to build for him. Seriously. So for this thing not to work, God doesn't want Akufo-Addo to build him a house. And so there is no way Akufo-Addo could have built it. No matter what the pastors or whoever they were did or they would have done. David, that God said is a man after my own heart, wanted to build God a house. He said, I don't want you to build me, because there is so much blood on your hands. Let your son come and build it. So it took Solomon to build a house for God. And you think you can just get up and say, God, I want to build you. God didn't give him that win because he told him he was going to build him a cathedral. Because this is a man who has come there and scammed God. So God knows your heart better than you know yourself. God knew that he couldn't have built him a house. And so God was not even interested in that. Ghanaians thought that this man who has been there over the years as a politician could have done something good for this nation or better. So let's give him the vote. And this is where we are today. Some personal whatever. And we have people who are being paid. My auntie Joyce is someone I respect so much when it comes to politics and religion. But sometimes when you hear some of them say some of these things, it's so discouraging. It's so, especially when it's coming from a woman. Seriously, because we are supposed to guide some of the men, not all though, some. Because sometimes they mostly think with their heads, we think with our hearts. Because we want things done properly. And if people are being paid today, at the end of every month, they carry their paychecks into the banks, go and take salaries that they don't work for. It's unfortunate. So we are begging this. So how come Archbishop is out of this thing? Sudanaba is out. What's the name? Lighthouse. Hayward Mills is out. All these big men, because for them, I read something somewhere, I've even forgotten. I think it was Archbishop said things were not done plainly. There wasn't any accountability. They were not open about the way things were going. So they don't need to be there. So that when people are being insulted, or God is asking people to account, they also have to go and account to people. So they have to get up. They resigned. So if you are still there because you are benefiting, you are taking monies every month, when Ghanaians are struggling to eat 3 times a day. Now we have it 010. You make sure that the morning you try afternoon, you eat some heavy gobe with the gari, enough. You take water till the next morning. That is what Ghanaians are feeding on. But we have people who are doing nothing. We have people who are working. Transport is taking 3/3 of their salaries. They can't pay their rents. They can't go to the market and come back comfortably without complaining. They go to work and they are not even able to give their best because things are just not right in this country. But we have a cathedral that has taken so much. We are giving our students, what is the name? Traffic light education, because we can't get them accommodation, we can't give them the right feeding, but we can invest into people who are doing nothing for this country, and we are paying them every month. And people are saying that because they are men of God. I always said that we are men of the devil. We are not men of God. Me, I believe that I'm a child of God. So you too, don't touch me. Don't touch the money that taxpayers are paying in this country. It is not for you. It is for God. It is for the nation. And anything that is for the nation, God has interest in it. Because we have orphans, we have the fatherless, we have the motherless, we have children who are in the orphanage who don't know where the next meal is coming from. Orphanages are struggling to keep these children there. But we have money to travel. It's just that we don't know how to set our priorities right, because this is a political something, and so whether it is good or it is right, I'm a pastor to this president, I'm a pastor to the vice, I advise them, I do so, whatever it will take. Because this man, the one with the 2 passports, that's the Edu Jenfi or whatever. I met him in one of the studios sometime. He was doing one-on-one concerning this same thing. And when I looked at his dressing, when he got up, and his demeanor, the fact that he got to know that I was even NDC, I said, oh, so do you have members who are also from the other side? And he didn't answer. The way he even looked at me and even walked out. I said, yes. This is a whole political thing, and it's not about the nation. I don't know what this whole cathedral was supposed to bring to us as a nation, tourists, whatever. When I say Yamoussoukro, and ask them how much safer has the cathedral given them? Nothing. Because people want to travel outside Africa. They want to see better things. Because no, it's because we don't. No, the thing is we don't believe in ourselves, because we don't believe. Don't we have Yamoussoukro Cathedral there? But don't we go to, when did Dubai come? That cathedral Yamoussoukro was built before Dubai. But now we'll pay and go to Dubai 2 weeks and come back. How many people have gone to Yamoussoukro to see the cathedral there? So some of these things, much thinking didn't go into it. It was just some flimsy thing somebody just wanted to do took us into some took some money, and some people are just benefiting from it. And Ghanaians, we are the ones at the losing end. We saw judges who were displayed. We saw a passport office displayed. We saw a whole embassy displayed because we want to build a cathedral, and we don't even have anything to show for it. If there's something on it, at least we know that this is our money's worth. And when we are investing into such things, I believe that we do that so that the money will even stay in our economy. How much stayed here? That's 50 million, over 50 billion that has gone out. How much stayed in Ghana? Which of our people in Ghana benefited apart from these trustees who are taking salaries for doing nothing? Nothing.
Yes. You know, the cathedral, it was not beyond our president to build it by himself. Looking at his stature, his international exposure, the people he knows, the MPP members, government, if he had even asked for the diasporan supports, you know, the fundraising, if he had done concerts, if his daughters had gotten involved, I am pretty sure that the first 100 million that they said could build the cathedral, they would have been able to get it. I think so. I think they would have been able, one to me alone would have given them at least some 20 million if they really wanted the money. Yes. You know, and then you look at Kennedy Japan. I mean, they have such rich people within the MPP. You understand? Who are always telling us about how rich they are. So for people like this, they could have contributed to build this cathedral without us getting to where we are now talking about it. So I think that he could still build it. He can look for money or maybe write it off and give us our money, and then his children and his family members can actually fund this whole thing. I believe that if he wants to build it himself, he can, even out of office. Just like Mrs. Lordina Mahama's husband is not there, and she's there building hospitals and stuff, and we see other people doing other things. You understand what I'm saying? So he can also take it as a social responsibility for himself, and then now that he's going to be free after the elections, he can travel the world and look for funding to actually make his dream come true. That's what I think.
It would have been a good legacy, at least.
Yeah,
something good for the first time that he would have left for Ghanaians.
He can still make it happen. He can still make it happen if he wants it to happen, but not with our money. Outside of yeah. That's what I'm saying. That outside of the presidency, we spent 58 million. Right? If that is really what we have spent, he should be able to go out there and get our 58 million back. Give us back our money, and say, this is your money. Now this one is my project. And then he can go out, whilst he's out of office, everybody else around him can go fundraising and tell them that this is what I want to build, a cathedral, the house of God, and therefore I'm seeking for your help. I am sure right now, just last week, I think he gave 524 people from the diaspora citizenship. I'm sure all of those, even if he's to ask them 1,000, 2,000, 2,000, we'll get it. And then there's still some other people, but I believe strongly that it's not something that Nanado himself cannot do.
Right, I'll do some more messages. Good morning, Bless. My regards to your guest, and more especially Kekeli. We all have made vows to God, and we paid honorably without going to collect or loot monies to do that. President personally made a vow. You must personally honor it by building what you told your God upon him, honoring his part of the deal. All who are involved in the cathedral, if found guilty in the investigation, should be prosecuted, including all the men of God, to serve as an scapegoat to all. Vote JM and the NDC for a better Ghana. Seidu John Paul, former SRC President, Tamale Technical University. Emmanuel Bogo says, good morning, Bless. Good morning, Emma. I hope you're fine. Sandra Wilson says, victory is coming soon for John Mahama. Okay, thank you very much. This one here says that good morning, Bless. This is Stephen Peng from WAP. The thievery of Nanado and his unscrupulous clergymen have finally been exposed, and they must be made to pay dearly for their individual and collective actions. The law must crack the whip and not hesitate. Stephen Peng, thank you so much for your time and for a message. I hope you are doing excellent. This one here says that good morning, blessed Kufuado building cathedral for the LGBT family, for which reason he is not willing to sign the bill. Read the book of Leviticus, Leviticus chapter 20 verse 13 and see what the Lord says. John Anyumi from Pando sent this one. This one he also says that good morning, bless. Those of us in the villages are also feeling the pain. I'm voting for Mahama and Sebastian Day for Pando. My name is James Uncle Godwin from Pando. Okay, thank you. Right. Good morning, bless. The National Cathedral project promised by President Akufo-Addo hasn't been fulfilled. If the president can't keep a promise to God, how can we trust them? Broken promises can be painful and disappointing. It's surprising that after failing to deliver on this promise and many more, the president's vice is now running for president. Ghanaians deserve better. Let's vote for John on December 7 and work towards a brighter future that reflects our values of peaceful, truthfulness, and honest leadership. Aigbe from Tamale. Thank you, Aigbe. To some more messages, Amial Kisi from Tadi. Respectfully, MPP corrupt governments, as a result of their wicked debt restructuring initiative, have taken over $12 billion Ghanaian hard-earned money without paying them back, and yet our condolence for such devastating move is for them to dance. Nyame na eshayin and sisifia nibi. Nyame eshayin and sisifia nibi to mock our pain and suffering. Please let's say no to the driver's mate by yesterday's experienced driver, and this is JM. All right, thank you. I read this last one. Good morning, bless. I hope it's not the Zionist and Hamas war that has delayed the construction of the so-called cathedral, because the stone came from there. Else we should turn it into a memorial cemetery for those who built it. Bibi from Accra. Thank you, Bibi, for a message. But let's move away from this conversation.
Let me add something. You see this prosecution, because they won't be in power from next year. As soon as we start, unfortunately, they are all, most of them are men of God, Abby. They will say that, oh, the NDC is after men of God. They don't like men of God. We are doing this thing to men of God. But honestly, if you're a man of God and you want to be a politician, you'll be treated like one. Seriously. If you're a boy, and if you're a man and decide to behave like a boy, how do we treat you? We treat you like a boy. So if they want to be men of God, they should have shown example, told the man to the face, honestly. Because I think the chairman crowd was supposed to be the running mate to Baumia, isn't it? And
it was rumored.
It was rumored, and Ghana, everything, so if they couldn't behave as men of God, tell these people the truth to the face that this thing you are doing is not right, things are not going well, and they continue taking salaries, when we start prosecuting them, this one is not coming from the NDC, it's coming from Sraj. So that it won't be like NDC wants to go after men of God, or they want to do this. If they do the right thing, we'll have peace. They should give us our money, like Auntie Rhoda said. Okay, take your money, stay out of our business, then we won't go and sleep and pray that they are able to build it. We'll help them to commission it. And we'll enjoy. Wear white. I mean, my white has been there since. I was waiting for the COVID. It didn't happen.
Right. Ken Williams says the cathedral is another Ponzi scheme meant to plunder the nation, just as they used the Free Senior High School as cash cow to milk the nation. Even King David, the Lord's anointed, could not build for God because he was guilty of bloodshed. How can a man who came to power through fraud and mass killings in the Chechiman, Bokuaya, also in Nigeria, build for God? Please don't allow NPP to scam you with a cathedral. That looks like a gay office complex. Okay. Good morning, blessed. Do we trust junior mother serpent of corruption to hold these people accountable? JDM is the only person that can apply oral, that is the operation retrieve or loot. Suglo Ibrahim from Nadoli Kalio constituency. Thank you, Suglo, for your message. Right. Away from conversations on the National Cathedral, by the way, yesterday I went home only to meet Dumso. And that was after they had, restored, or they had opened my taps after closing it for like 5 days. As soon as they opened the tap, they took the light. But there's Dumso. I don't know if you are experiencing, I don't know where the places where you live, but yesterday for about 6 hours I didn't have light, and it wasn't really my place. I spoke to a few people, and then it was quite ubiquitous. Everywhere there was light out, there was power outage. We are learning that some IPPs, independent power producers, they have crumbled because ECG owes them huge sums which they haven't paid, and because of that, ECG, they can no longer provide us power. ECG, I heard yesterday that they are now buying power from Cote d'Ivoire. I don't know how true that is, but that is a situation. And I even hear that even the one they are buying from Cote d'Ivoire, they are still not paying. It's still on credit, and then they still haven't paid. But I'm sure you've also heard that they are asking us to restock a month's supply because they are going to have. I suspect that.
No, they're looking for money.
Yeah, this is for money.
Upgrade anywhere. There's no upgrade anywhere. It's just another problem. About 3 months ago, the same message came out, and we all had to rush again and go and buy for the same upgrade. And now they're saying, oh, it's not. It's for a particular meter.
But the meter, and even now you buy prepaid and then
it's killing.
It's
really killing.
With a flash of light,
it's killing. But
it's gone.
This Dumso, well, we experience it. I live at Adringano. Occasionally we do experience Dumso, and it's really killing us because you end up having to fuel your generator all the time. So it's not a very pleasant thing to be. And it would be good for them to come out and say, yes, we are in Dumso, and bring us a timetable. Because sometimes you're just sitting there and the lights go off. Or you're in town and you're told that the lights are off in your area. And if there's no one at home to put off your appliances, you end up coming and some of them are kaput. So that's another worrying aspect of all this Dumso. At this time that we don't have money to spend on buying new appliances, one would have thought that they would have sympathy on us and give us a timetable. You don't have to deny the fact that we are having problems within the ECG. If you have not paid the IPPs and they are threatening, in fact, I think Sogli has already, he has already cut off because they owe him so much money. If you owe someone and you don't pay him, how is he also going to pay his suppliers to be able to give you electricity? So ECG is a disaster. I don't know. Somehow I think that I am beginning to understand why Mr. Alan Shamating is saying that we should have an upper chamber that will see to the appointment of public institutions, movers of public institutions. Because you ask yourself, we are now using prepaid. That means we are paying forward. It's not postpaid. Majority of people are now on prepaid. So I pay before I consume. You understand? The villagers are also doing the same thing. So where is that money? How come you still owe so much? Now they are telling us that it's because of the foreign exchange. And that even when they get the cedis and they take it to the bank for it to be paid to the suppliers, the IPPs, the exchange rates fluctuate so much that sometimes they are asked to come and add some more money to get the quantum that they really need to pay the IPPs. So that too is another problem. But you see, were they not thinking of that when they started misbehaving? Because I know that we used to supply La Côte d'Ivoire and we used to supply Burkina Faso. Are we still doing it? Aren't we getting any foreign exchange from there? And then you're looking at another thing, planning. We are being told that the Bui Dam is going high capacity, almost to full capacity. And that also is a threat. because something that was a standby is not supposed to be used to its fullest. If the water level goes down, we might have a problem next year. Akosombo is already a weak dam. Bui has come to complement it, and if we are going to run down Bui because we don't want to tell the Ghanaians the truth that we are having challenges with funding for ECG, that there are loopholes in ECG that is sort of siphoning out every dime that we are sending in there, then we have a problem. I think the government must be honest, come out and tell us we have challenges, and ECG shouldn't hide. Look, we are living in a country where some of us are paying and some people too are not paying, and those who are not paying are the people who really consume the electricity.
Yes.
Those who are not paying are the public servants. Who are not paying are those who have air conditioners in their kitchens, air conditioners in their toilets, air conditioners everywhere, and they turn it on, they go to work, they come back, and it's still on. Some of them in their offices, you're going for lunch, you turn on your air condition and you go for lunch. Just ask yourself, if you were the one paying, would you do that? But they do it. They turn it on, they go. Some even forget and go to come back the next day and the air condition is there. Such irresponsible behavior from some of our public office holders, just because you are not paying. You should ask for their telephone bills, overseas calls. All these things must stop. You know, it's about time we sat down and these Article 71 office holders, we just put a red pen, cancel the whole thing off. Because they are actually a drain on us. And to think that we pay them so much and they live well and we are suffering is something that I don't understand. I see it this way. If you employ someone to work for you and the person doesn't deliver, do you continue to have the person? We don't sack them. When they don't deliver, we don't sack them. No performance bond of any nature is given to them. They don't do anything. They just sit there, get paid, get fat, and then feed fat on our monies, and that's the end of it. That's part of the problem we are having. Because electricity, look, Electricity Company of Ghana, you have been aware that foreigners are coming in here. Our sister countries are coming here because of our electricity. Do you know how many Nigerians are in this country because of electricity? 8. Do you know how they use or misuse our electricity? They are also part of our problem. And at the end of the day, we sit back, we will end up turning Ghana into another Nigeria, where we will also start having generators. By that time, Dangote's refinery would have worked so well for Nigeria. They will have electricity, and we will now be going to Nigeria for electricity. This is what is happening. The people are not working. Everything is about politics. Everything in this country has turned to politics. Instead of being in the office, they are out doing political duties. And that is why I agree with Mr. Alan Chiramating that you cannot be a minister of state, be a member of parliament at the same time. Take one. You either become a member of parliament and sit in the parliament house and do the legislative work, or you come into the public service and serve the public. But you can't have two. As we are speaking, some ministers who are MPs are in their constituencies. So who looks after the back? You get me? The constitution needs to be reformed. Amendments have to be done. Whatever it is that we have to do, we will have to do. But as for the IPPs, I think that ECG has to find the money to pay them. And we must also be looking at conditions of service. Look, we are all workers in this country. I don't see why some people are in the public service And they are taking huge sums of money and all manner of allowances. And there are some people to working for government who are taking quarter of that with no allowances or very menial allowances. This thing anomaly has to be corrected. We should all feel the pinch. You shouldn't sit VRE. Do you know how much they pay themselves? ECG, do you know how much they pay themselves? And they are not helping us in any way. We are still having the problems we are having. Meanwhile, we are paying people to make it better for us. We will not accept any shortfalls. Again, they should sort it out. I think the ECG boss resigned and no one is talking about it. We've not asked him why. He says personal issues. Definitely not personal. It was because of interferences. If you have an ECG boss who is appointed by another body outside the presidency, that person will be bold enough to walk into anywhere, even the Jubilee House, and turn off the lights. You understand? But this is a situation where you cannot do that. So people are not paying. We should all pay. All of us should pay. It's very important that we pay. That for me is the final thing. We should all pay. An electricity company of Ghana should go from minister's house to minister's house and check, make sure that they pay. I don't see, there should be a cut-off point somewhere for everybody. There are some people that if you mention their names now, they'll come after you. Why should you say that they should also have a cut-off? But there must be a cut-off for everybody, every Ghanaian, be you in the security agencies, be you in wherever, there must be a cut-off point. Everybody now is using an air condition. Everybody is using a microwave. Everybody is using an iron. These are all things that consume a lot of electricity. And yet, we sit back and we do nothing. We are not using our heads. Look around. Days gone by, we had louvers. You open, you get fresh air. Today we are all using glazed glass. It is consuming more electricity to cool up, yes, to cool our rooms. Yet government is building those kinds of infrastructure everywhere. All the shops that you see is the same. We are all guilty of it. But we must sometimes not copy blindly. Let's copy that which actually helps us, not that which is beautiful but is hurting us. And this is beautiful but it is hurting us. So we must be looking at those things. Let's not copy blindly. Everywhere is glazed glass. How? In this kind of weather? So now when you enter, everywhere is air conditioned. That's it. And you are sitting in the air conditioned office, they've turned it on high, and you have a jacket on. Why? You can't regulate. You haven't noticed it in public offices. They are wearing jackets because they are feeling too cold. Yet the thing is high, consuming more electricity. Why do we do that to ourselves? So I think that it's a mindset thing. We should all change our mindsets about the way we use public property, and also about, it's not the question of affordability, in as much as we should be thinking of availability for everybody. If you can pay for water, it doesn't mean that you should be using the water just anyhow. If you can pay for electricity, you should be thinking of the next person. It doesn't mean you should use the electricity anyhow. At least use it in moderation, knowing that, yes, when I get out of my house, straight, your lights go off. You don't leave it on. You know, people who live abroad that we see, and we see them having everything nice, go and be leaving somebody's lights on and see what the person will do to you. So these are things that we must have a mindset change on. We have to change our lifestyles a bit and think of the other people who would also want the same electricity. Because if we don't minimize our wastage, other communities will not get any. So the fact that you can pay doesn't mean that you should deny somebody of getting electricity.
Right. So thank you very much. Kelly, our power situation.
I'm just fed up with this country, sir.
There's a proverb in Chi that says that umami na also ada ade chi a una kombedo cause obi eni so umami wo ho nto chesika ye ma ubi and ye che duane a ye ma ubi. I don't know if I can explain it in English. If your mother is dead and you come telling us that your mother is sleeping, in the morning we all go about our business without asking you for whether you've eaten or not, but we know your mother is there to feed you. That's the problem with the MPP. What they have not done, they said they have done. What they know, and they don't know anything about. That's what they claim. I remember the sector minister, there was the is it Amenyo, was the whole MP was his name? Amel. He said since they came, they've not added anything. It was one of the reasons why they took him out, because he was being frank to Ghanaians. When we started having issues, they started complaining about excess capacity and all that. So where is the excess capacity? Did we sell them? What did we do to them? All the people we've been selling power to, what happened? Have we stopped? Why are they not buying from us? Because there are a lot of stories to that. Why is Ghana, other countries, Burkina, Cote d'Ivoire and all that, Togo, why are they still not buying from us? Why have they stopped and now buying from Nigeria? What happened? Anytime they meet something that they have to continue, because the government is a progressive thing, they won't. If I do it, they will say I came to continue the NDC thing. So they want to stop that program and want to start another one, do something different. And since you came, so far as you have not added any what to the generation capacity and all that, what will happen? It will diminish. Or whatever I don't know what happened to the excess capacity they were complaining about. So if they can come back and tell us all that, give us account of what they met, what they've been able to do with what they have met. When you talk, they will tell you we brought Dumso. Which government in its right senses we want to go and bring Dumso to make the government unpopular? Unless you want to tell me that the party, he doesn't want his party to come to power again, or he wants them to lose the election. And they use this thing as a campaign thing. You see, we are having this issue. Unfortunately for us on the NDC, we are winning this election. Now we'll come and meet this thing again. And they will sit back and say that, didn't we tell you these people will bring Dumso? Do you understand? We were in this country when Dumso started during Rollins time. Nothing much was done. They went to, is there a Tuabo? They brought that, yeah. Tema, is there a plant? Rollins time. The one at
TTIs.
That should be 98 there.
Yes. He tried, he added something. When it was Kufuor's time, what happened? He went and called pastors to Akosobo to go and pray. But Muhammad said, I am going to fix this thing. He took the bull by the horn and he fixed it. We got the Asoglis, we got the Car Power, the Ameri, even that one. When they came, do you remember they went to do renegotiations? That they even bloated the figures above what they were complaining. Car Power, now Ameri Power, now where is it? Dakosombo is there. So if you can't pay, it's a matter of finance. I've been telling people. And the foreign currency is going up. So if we were selling to all the countries we were selling to them, then we should also be having something coming in for us. And we're using it to be offsetting. Now you've decided to be Chenchehine. You decided not to sell to anybody. You were doing your own thing. And now look at where we are. I have 2 of my televisions have sport. Yesterday, this thing you were complaining. I had it. So when I go home, now so now the electricity, you're going to thoughts. Because it started when I got to Asori Down had lights. At uncomfortable there was no light till first stop had light. You move from roundabout, there's no light. And I was like, so what's the meaning of this? So that's when you complain, they will tell you that some people have lights and all that. And for my area, I don't know if it's everywhere. We have this power stability. It's been going on and off. So 2 of my televisions are now packed. It's not working. And so I thought it was my area alone. And so one night I realized that my fridge, so I had to put it. I said, God, don't let this, because the freezer is gone. If this fridge goes, I don't know how I'm going to manage. I don't even have money to fix it or buy another one. The electricity, the power they are giving us is not stable. Low current, high current. Sometimes you hear the AC, boo, 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 boo. So if you don't put, and I'm like, what is all this? Yesterday when I got home and there was no light, so I was trying to open the gate. It was also giving me wahala. After opening, then I saw that the light has come. When the light came, one part of the light was very down. Then this part was the same house, the same meter. It's not 2 meters. Then I saw then it went off again. And I had to sleep in it for 3 hours. You can imagine you are tired. Go through all the day, this heat and all that, get home. At least you need some sound sleep, small, even if it's 3 hours, 4 hours. And electricity too says he won't come. Sometimes even if you have it, because the light is not stable, you can't even use your fan comfortably or your AC. And when you speak, if they were to be here, you see what will happen. You brought them so, and then so somebody brought them so, and you are doing the wrong thing, so we shouldn't talk. They should fix it and make sure that we are not coming to inherit it, and they'll sit back and say that NDC has brought them so again, because we enjoy people bashing us. All the things you spoke about, the things you fought and called us incompetent about, is the best that this government is giving us now. The things they called us incompetent for, called John Dramani Mahama incompetent for, is the best they are giving us. All the worst things we ever did in this country for that 4 years of John Dramani Mahama is the best the MPP is giving us for these 8 years. So if it's about money, where is the money going to? We know the PDS, the money they took, and what happened to PDS? This buy online electricity, go and pay online and all that. Who is the money going to? Who owns some of those money-taking companies? I put it. What about Mia? It's connected to all these things. So all this go online and do this, they are making money out of it. So Ghanaians, if you don't know, Dr. Bawumia is, what's the name of that company? Hoptel. Has a share, has a part in Hoptel. So if he's telling you go buy things, PDS, what happened to it? Is it about where they use for PDS? Where is that money? What happened to that money? Have we taken it? Have they accounted for that money? Thank God we have John Dramani Mahama is saying the operation recover all loot. We'll make sure that all these people will pay for this money, because we need the money to run the country. And he told us there's money at Bank of Ghana. So today, if they are stealing from us, where is the money that was at Bank of Ghana? They have stolen that one too, and they have chopped on top of that.
They needed to build a new headquarters.
How come the director of ECD, the Mahama guy, resigned? What happened? They said they gave an amount to Hoptel. Hoptel didn't give them what they were looking for. Is that not what he said? And who owns Hoptel? So Hoptel has questions. So this is the reason why these people want to rig this election. They don't want to lose the election, because the thing is they have lost it already in advance. But they want to make sure that they win this election to cover up for all the stealing, all this corruption. Thank God John Dramani Mahama is saying that when it comes to the energy sector, he still can get investors despite the corruption that we are facing in this country. So that at least this thing, from where he left it, he can continue. Not what these people are giving Ghanaians. Honestly, these people are failed people. They are thieves. They are corrupt MPP, and we have to send them back to where they belong. They should go and sit down, because honestly, for Bawumia, Alhaji Bawumia, sometimes I don't even want to hear his name. It says that he was brought when the MPP didn't want him, and Nana told MPP and Ghanaians that he's bringing the man because he has some magic wine. As soon as he casts those cowries there, he's going to get all the solutions to our economic problems. The incompetent administration of Mahama and all that was going to be solved. And today, this same person said we should give him the nod to become a president of this country. When he's stealing from us through Optel, when he's taking the small money, you go and buy 50 cedis worth. A lady who sells she has a small container, maybe the size of this one, a little this thing. It's one fridge. When she's going home, she puts it off. Pure water and maybe drinks. And 15 cedis, she came complaining. Is there any issue with my meter? I said no. He said 15 cedis, 2 days, it's gone. And I said yes, it's possible.
I bought 100 cedis and it lasted 2 days.
Yes. Unfortunately, those times when I was good, normally I want to buy 500,000 so that at least you can sleep a bit. Go and buy 1,000 now and see. You regret buying it. So what buy the 150?
5,000, they see that you will have.
So I don't know whether the intentional.
They're asking us to buy plenty. I mean, we do not have so much time, but let's quickly look at.
Ghanaians should vote these people out.
Right.
Let's go back to where we reset this nation back on the right track.
Right. Thank you. Auntie Rhoda, I couldn't have ended the show without us, having a brief conversation on Alan Chomanting, and I mean, last week he spoke, and we had that Kufuor conversation over here. He didn't take it lightly at all. He didn't take it lightly at all. I mean,
He was here.
But he spoke on it. Yeah. But I think over the weekend they actually met. He met Kufuor at one funeral like that. They exchanged pleasantries.
Alan is not vindictive.
But let's touch briefly on this one. Alan promises to reform Ghana's constitution and cut down presidential powers. This is one of the things that we've been complaining about. How easy is that going to be to say that we are going to have a review of the constitution and cut down and take some powers away from the executive?
The executive himself.
Yeah.
I think this was when we met with Star Ghana at the GBC hall, and he gave his let's say great transformational plan out to the public, and this was one of the things that he said. Alan believes that the presidency has too much powers, and that has also created a lot of problems, because if one person is the one who appoints everybody practically, then you don't get people doing the right things sometimes. So he believes that he has to relegate some of it at least to some other people, and that is why he's proposing that there should be an establishment of a second chamber of parliament, which will consist of traditional authority, religious bodies, ordinary Ghanaians, the Trades Union Congress, and representatives of various professional bodies, and everybody to form the second chamber of parliament. That way they will see to the appointments of those bodies that should be autonomous. You cannot say that the EC is autonomous when it's the president that appoints her. You cannot say that the special prosecutor is autonomous when it is the president that appoints him. You understand? So in order to cut off that linkage with the president, he's proposing a second chamber. And all that we need to do is that you can't amend these parts of the constitution. Some of them you have to go for a referendum to amend them. So he feels that yes, we will need to go to the referendum to make sure that some articles within the constitution are amended or removed or reformed in a certain way, reworded in a certain way. If we had maybe looked at this, we wouldn't come to a situation where we had that minority issue with the Supreme Court judges coming out with the CJ coming out with their own interpretation of what is in the constitution that you and I felt that it was in simple English. So Alan is saying that he's ready as president to curtail some of the powers that will be given to him, to remove some of it. It is not right for one person to be able to appoint but over 6,000 people into offices, especially when they are rendering services to Ghanaians and they are supposed to be autonomous or neutral bodies. The president must be out of that. Let the professional bodies and the rest, the representative of Ghanaians, be able, together with Parliament, to appoint those people. And that's what I was just telling you. If you are appointing, if the Bank of Ghana governor is being appointed by this second chamber and together with Parliament, it then means that the Bank of Ghana governor cannot, the president cannot call you, or Minister of Finance cannot say, we need money, so print. You understand? Or bring in whatever. You have checks and balances when this is done. And this is a very important thing. To have checks and balances, that's number one. To have accountability. There is what we call the collective. Yeah, like he said, you have collective responsibility and individual accountability. So in this situation, you don't go and say that because you all sat there. No. Individually, you must be able to account for yourself.
Right.
So those are some of the things that he is saying.
Right. Thank you.
So he's saying that even though he's not president and he's asking for it, if he gets the opportunity, he's ready to let go of some of his powers.
Right.
I don't think some of them would love to do that.
Well,
enjoy it.
Well, right. I don't know if Kekeli would want to say briefly 1 minute.
Yeah. Better late than never. We were in this country when we called for the NDC during Atamil's time for
constitutional review.
They didn't bring all these things. Is it we are waiting when you become president before you? No. It was an open thing.
No,
he was part of the NPP. He was enjoying
the
executive
constitutional review that Atamil's had done. You overlooked all of it and took only one. If you had gone according to what we had spent money on that constitutional review, Ghana wouldn't be where it is today. You did not. You took only one article.
Right.
It's unfortunate when some of these things happen. Like when the constitution was even being drawn in the first place. They said they don't want to be part of butchers, they don't want to be part of hairdressers. They took themselves out as
NPP. Let us down.
But we thank God. How many people were there who were lawyers? How many people, those who drew the constitution in the first place, they said they won't be part of it.
Lawyers were there. Lawyers were there. They were what we say, it's a figurative speech when we say butchers and whatnot. You understand? The first parliament of the Fourth Republic was something like, it was new. The NPP was not part, and therefore ordinary people, if you went to them, if you had MPs from the northern regions, for instance, we have ordinary people. Some of them, they may be livestock dealers. Let's not call them butchers, but livestock dealers, right? These were people who were already managing stuff. Some were illiterate, and Rollins did say it, and there was nothing wrong with it, that you could have interpreters. Because after all, it's our national languages that they are speaking. You understand? So when we say that, yes, the MPP did not take part, but people of substance did take part. But we always say that because they didn't take part, being who they are, that we know that majority of them are into law and those things. So they didn't take part, but they were not really. It's also part of, because if you look at the butchers, if you look at the butchers, the constitution was a
right. Thank you very much. Our time is up. Our time in a good direction.
Yes. So the winner takes all.
Right.
Agrees with it. We agree with it, and that is the first thing that we have to do. Sure.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's 10 a.m. Thank you, Kekeli. Thank you, Auntie Oda. It's been a pleasure. I'll see you tomorrow on the morning show. Do have a pleasant day. Bye-bye.
The shocker Ghana is going to